Recorded live from Portland, Oregon, it's the Transamorous Network podcast. Let's get it on. It's the Transamorous Network podcast. Let's get it on. I'm Perry.
I'm Remy.
And I'm Shannon Scott.
Hello, everybody out there.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
So we got another video appreciation episode.
Yes.
This one from the Department of Justice. We just finished watching it.
Yeah, great video.
Right?
Yeah, not perfect, but great. I mean, a serious kudos right now up front for them even putting this out there.
Tell us what the video was about.
It was about basically treating transgender people with respect when dealing with them in a law enforcement setting. I guess, is that the right way to say that?
Yeah, I guess so.
How police should deal with trans individuals in any situation.
In a respectful manner.
In a respectful manner. And they featured, unlike Hollywood, they featured transgender people in the transgender roles.
Who'd have thunk it? Just saying. Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah, no, it was really, really great. They especially addressed the fact that, address the existing culture within the Department of Justice and the police department.
The existing culture being?
One of making jokes, one of... They featured one of the officers eye rolling and then intentionally making a jab towards the transgender people. This is all real things that happen. So I appreciated that sense of reality that they brought to it and then kind of called it out and said, we need to change this.
It was funny because I didn't know if you guys would see the eye rolling because he's not a very good actor. So I
saw it.
Oh, you did?
I saw his little eye roll. I was like, oh.
We all
Get him, Miss Reese. Get him. Come on, Della. Get him. And she got him.
She did indeed.
She looked like Della Reese. Anyway.
Yeah. And then they also, of course, they showed the more enlightened officers handling the situation more appropriately, which I thought was good too.
Yeah.
How often, I wonder, in my mind, I compare this training video with, the question in my mind is, where's the Black Lives Matter training video? Not to make this about black people, but it's great to see that the law enforcement community is addressing this really important issue in dealing with the trans community. But we don't see something like this for the Black Lives Matter.
Do we not?
I would imagine
maybe not
that
specifically, but I know for a fact that there are several police departments throughout the nation right now that have special workforces dedicated to addressing the discrimination in the racial world.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it.
Portland here we have one. It's like the special panel that an advisory panel. It's this is happening all over. Okay. So to say that maybe there's not the video, but it's definitely being addressed, and it needs to be addressed.
For sure. Anyway.
But there's got to be police diversity videos.
Oh, I'm sure there are diversity videos out there.
They just haven't been made maybe since the Black Lives Matter movement.
I am happy to see that not only did this, so this video is training the law enforcement community on how to interact with the trans community, as Shannon said. And it's also, it's interesting that I don't know where Prince George is. Prince George County. I guess I could look that up in a second, but it's interesting.
I thought you meant Prince George. I was like, what? Where are you taking this, Perry?
No, the county.
The county was the featured county in this video was Prince George. Just for clarification for those of you who haven't seen the video yet.
Yes, and it was very multicultural. Mm-hmm. They did a very good job of representing all the cultures.
Most of them.
Which ones did they miss?
I didn't see no Latin people up in there.
Oh, wasn't the woman who was thought with the one who went to the bathroom? Wasn't she Latin?
Oh, I guess so. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought I was missing something. Anyway, the point is it's very cool how the Department of Justice did this, and they did it in a way that addressed all the factors, in my opinion anyway.
They gave them information on terms, like what is transgender, what is gender identity, what is sexual orientation,
and the difference between all
of them.
Mm-hmm. And they gave some recommended ways that law enforcement officials should approach people who, for example, whose driver's license doesn't match their appearance, which is really good.
Asking them what your preferred pronouns or how would you like to be
how would you like me to refer to you? We're stepping away from the whole preferred pronouns because it's not a preference. It's I don't come up to you and ask you what gender do you prefer. Your gender is your gender. It's what race do you prefer? You don't
human.
Yeah, exactly. It's you don't this isn't a preference, and so we're stepping away from that and going how can I most respectfully address you, or how would you like to be addressed, or what pronouns do you use? So just a little technicality there.
That's a really good point, though.
Yeah, it's not a preference.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I forgot what I was going to mention here. It was really important, ladies and gentlemen, and it just slipped out of my mind.
Skirt. Train off the track.
Train off the track. Go ahead.
No.
Oh, nothing?
It'll come back.
Okay.
Anyway.
We're just going to stand here while we wait for it to come back. No. Okay. So it's interesting that this is yet another example, in my opinion, of how the trans community is experiencing increasing evidence of things getting better.
Absolutely. I was going to say earlier that for all of you people on the other side of the fence who are transgender, now you have a reason to open up that space in your mind to be like, maybe they're just not here to attack me. Maybe they're just doing their job. Maybe I can be a little bit more friendly and be a little bit more cooperative. And that's going to make it easier for everybody. They're trying. Let's try also.
There was a segment in there where an African American trans woman was talking about the wall that's up between the trans community and law enforcement, where she said the trans community doesn't see them as an ally. Mm-hmm. And so if the police officers could listen to this video or watch this video and adopt some of the practices offered in it, then the wall would fall away. So it's just really, again, this is, I live my life looking for all the positive things in the world because I want my reality to reflect my desires, the things I want to see in the world. And the way to do that, according to our guides, is to focus on the positive and pay no attention whatsoever to the negative things to the degree that you're able to do. I mean, like Remy likes to say, where you are is where you are. And if you see yourself focusing on the negative, then that's where you are. You just have to, and then like Shannon says, it does take work to get from that reality to the reality that you want. It just doesn't happen overnight by some flip of a switch.
It's those knee-jerk reactions that you have to just keep catching sooner and sooner and sooner. You know, feel that emotion, have that initial response. But at somewhere in that process, you talk yourself out of it, you talk yourself away from it, you turn it around, and the goal is to hopefully get those shorter and shorter time periods between when the knee-jerk reaction happens and when you actually can check yourself on it to the point when those knee-jerk reactions are the preferred.
So here's a good little test we can just run. Earlier when I said, they're trying, now we can try too, I'm sure there's some of you that are listening that said, yeah, but you don't know my situation, you don't know my experience. And I want you, if you're one of those people that did that,
I don't care.
And you had that knee jerk, and you said, well, that's not for me because everybody's that's your story. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what we're talking about. The incremental change has to start with your story. So if you had that knee jerk and said, oh no, well, that's not me, like everybody, like no, they're just terrible and you put it all on them, that's yours. You got to own that. So that's the actual step 1, step 2, step 3, how to do this.
Really good
You got to start catching yourself first.
Really good example. There's another example, listeners and viewers, if you want to go onto the Transamorous Network YouTube channel, there's an interaction I had with an African American. I believe she's a trans woman, but the person might be a troll, where we were talking about one of our previous episodes where she was having a knee-jerk reaction about trans blackface, which was the title of the show we did several weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
And she was saying, in her language, there's no fucking way that being trans is comparable to being black. We were being lynched back in the day, and you're trying to say blah, blah, blah. Stop trying to make this comparison. And the point I was trying to make was, I'm not trying to compare the trans experience to the black experience. I'm saying in our video that Hollywood is exploiting the trans community in the same way it exploited the black community with blackface. But she was trying to take this to this whole nother level, and you could see.
It's not what I said, Cletus. Listen to what I said. Listen to the words coming out of my mouth. Exactly. They are clear, and they aren't in English.
And I have something I'd like to say about this one-upmanship of my life sucks more than your life. Oh, God. That is not a race you want to win, my friend. Like, that is not something you're like,
exactly.
No, why are you having this battle? It's like, okay, your life sucks more. You win. Okay, my life's better.
You get the cookie, bitch, here.
Yeah. Here's your shit-covered cookie, okay? You want it that bad, you can have it, okay? So I'm like, just that's not a battle you want to win. All right, so quit fighting it.
Yeah, I like to call that the Pain Olympics. You get the gold medal.
Right?
Yeah, I'll be happy with the bronze. Actually, I don't even want to play.
I don't, right. Maybe I'll watch from the stands, but
Exactly.
I'm probably too busy to even attend.
Exactly.
I got some good shit going down. Gotta go. Bye-bye.
And with that, let's have a word from our sponsor.
Today's show is brought to you by The Velvet Rope, Portland's adult sex-positive social club. You can find them at thevelvetrope.pdx.com.
And for those of you that are coming to Portland on tour, by the way, Transamorous Men, we're still talking about our sponsor, but Transamorous Men, there's no better place. Well, I was going to say there's no better place than Portland, but we create our own reality. And if you can create the reality of abundant trans women in your community, then yours will be the better place for you.
It's a great place to start.
It's a great place to start because everywhere I go, I see a trans woman.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
And so if you're thinking about taking a vacation and you want, if you want a place where you can create an effective story that you can take back to your hometown, come to Portland and
hit up the Velvet Rope.
Exactly. And experience the trans community. And while you're here, hit up the Velvet Rope. Tell them that you heard about the Velvet Rope on the Transamorous Network podcast, and they'll give you 50% off your membership.
Boom.
Awesome.
Boom. That's it for this episode.
All right. Remember, guys,
sweet.
step it up. Keep your game right.
Keep
And
your
just
story
be who
right.
you are.
And
you
just
know?
be who you are. And if you're interested in being on the show, you Transamorous Men, reach out to us at info@transamorousnetwork.com or make a comment on our YouTube channel. And trans women, we're looking for you too. So if you want to be on the show, you've seen a lot of them on our YouTube channel, a lot of other trans women on the show. Feel free to do the same thing. info@transamorousnetwork.com.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.